Former President Donald Trump started off his Friday morning with an all caps rant about seized documents. Ah, yes. So let me show you that. He posts on Truth Social or Pro Central or whatever. What is going on with the FBI and the Justice Department? They're literally called the Justice Department. Okay. They seem to be totally out of control. There is right now a weaponization of justice, the likes of which our country has never seen before. The Twitter and Facebook scandal has already proven to be, with the possible exception of spying on my campaign, their most sinister act in history. Even the rhinos and the weak are openly admitting that the 2020 election was rigged. What? But in a darker way than ever thought possible. So many lives destroyed. Yes. So many lives were destroyed by things that did not happen. Okay. So, again, Unhinged, and in all caps, by the way. Caps lock, not cruise control for cool. Don't do that. But anyway, he then, after that, he's not done. Oh, do you think Donald Trump's done? No, he's never done. No, he then commented on the Twitter files. The vaunted Twitter files. All right. Here's what he said. Elon, the Twitter releases are a revelation in that they show, in a very powerful fashion, the FBI and justice illegally colluding. No, it's not. Proving conclusively in one more very powerful way. Very powerful. That the 2020 presidential election was rigged and stolen. Weird capitalization right there. What everyone is really waiting to see, however, is the Twitter information and thought process leading up to the time of the so-called election. Yeah, election. Right. And ultimately the deplatforming of the President of the United States. Big moment in history. Thank you. Hey, Trump, you realize you're not banned on Twitter anymore. If you wanted to get Elon Musk's attention, all you have to do is post there. You don't know how thirsty he is for you posting on Twitter. Oh, that's right. You can't do that because if you do, you'll get sued by the investors in True Social. Oops. Yeah. So, but no, what's funny about this, look, everything's funny about this because it's ridiculous. But does he think that somehow Twitter went and switched votes? How is that? How does that prove conclusively, in a very powerful way, the most powerful way, the tremendously powerful, that the election was rigged and stolen? What? No. And by the way, thinking, going to the thought process of banning Donald Trump from Twitter, well, he did kind of, use social media to incite a literal attack on the Capitol. I'm just saying, that's the thought process. Kind of a big deal when you incite, a riot, and use social media to do so. But okay, that said, he finished his rant with this, and this is where the Clinton sock drawer comes into play. I know it's bizarre, but stay with me, okay? So now he says, under the Presidential Records Act, in the very well-established Clinton Socks case, the raid of Mar-a-Lago by the FBI and the taking of documents and many other items was illegal. Everything should be returned at once. At once, I say. I can't. What did I tell you, though, yesterday? He's going to be like, you should give everything back. Just give it all back. Stuff that doesn't belong to you. That's why they took him in the first place, because it didn't belong to you. The classified documents specifically. But look, he references the Clinton Socks case, which is interesting because back in September, his lawyers, he was urging his lawyers to try to use this, and his legal team ended up not adopting the strategy, and I'm going to tell you why. So, for one, there's nothing salacious about the sock drawer, just in case you were wondering, all right? But it was a 2012 ruling considering a former president's power, in this case, Bill Clinton, to decide what is a private record and what is a presidential record. All right, or a Presidential Records Act document in his post-presidency. So this seems to be, something that might relate to his case because he's got all these documents and he's saying that, no, these are my personal documents. But they're not. They're not, though. So more details on this, more context. During his White House tenure, Bill Clinton spoke at some length with Pulitzer Prize-winning author Taylor Branch. And as part of the project, there were many recordings of their conversations. According to one 2007 account, the tapes were at one point stored in a sock drawer. Why? I don't know. Now, here's the thing. Who cares? Oh, you did an interview and you spoke at length with with an author and a little project. There's some tapes. Who cares? Well, it turns out conservatives thirsty for any kind of scandal. In fact, Judicial Watch, who is which is a conservative group, they filed a lawsuit demanding that Clinton turn over the recordings. Why? Why would you want those? That doesn't make any sense. Oh, it's a Presidential Act recording. No, it's probably something that they would attempt to use for some sort of political hit job. Again, I'm not somebody who's a fan of the Clintons, but this is exactly the kind of thing that Republicans would do. They just want it so that they can comb through it and see if they can find anything to go after probably Hillary Clinton. That said, in 2012, a federal court rejected the organization's claims, including that the tapes were personal records, not official presidential materials. Okay, so that's it. That's why the Trump team didn't use that case, because it wouldn't have mattered. Jackson's ruling explicitly stated that Presidential Records Act distinguishes presidential records from personal records. Those tapes were Bill Clinton's personal records and didn't have anything to do with him as president, right? They were just something that were personal. But now, by the way, personal records are defined as documents that are purely private or non-public character. Completely different than the the Presidential Records Act documents that were, taken from Mar-a-Lago. It's just completely different. And look, here's the thing. The FBI does not want Donald Trump's personal crap. They could care less about his personal stuff. What they want is the classified government documents that he took from the White House when he left. The stuff that does not belong to Donald Trump. And among the things that he took were classified documents involving the nuclear capabilities of a foreign country, as well as documents that were at such a high level of classification that only cabinet level or higher could actually view them. Not some, these are documents that not some rando who decides to walk into Mar-a-Lago and, go to the storage closet should be able to find. And so this case is not even comparable. And yet he brings it up. Very, very strange. Now, to me, I think desperation. Obviously. Because you don't bring something up that your legal team didn't even attempt to use because it wouldn't have applied randomly on a Friday morning. It just feels like he's throwing everything at the wall, including the ketchup, because maybe he feels like those same walls are closing in. I'm not entirely sure, but there it is.